A forest is a biotic community spread over a large tract of uncultivated land and is predominantly composed of trees, shrubs, herbs, and climbers. Many of you must have enjoyed the natural beauty of forest, especially when you visited a hill station. Forests occupy a special place in the life and thought of people. They are invaluable wealth of a nation and a renewable natural resource. In the last 100 years, utilization of forest products has gone up manyfold to meet the growing demands for wood and timber. Excessive felling of forest trees because of setting up of industries, building of roads, cities, and for cultivation is very common. Deforestation poses serious threat to our economy, quality of life, and environment. However, the State of Forest Report SFR 2009 gives an encouraging picture. Our forest and tree cover stands at 23.84%, which is an increase of 4.75% over 10 years. We must continue our good work of spreading awareness and planting more trees to reach the goal of 33% forest cover as in the National Forest Policy. Forest types in India. The distribution of natural forests in India is governed principally by rainfall. Rainfall varies from 12 cm to 125 cm annually in different parts of the country, resulting in a wide variety of vegetation,
from xerophytic scrub forests in the arid zones of Rajasthan to evergreen rainforests in the tropics as in the Western Ghats, Assam, North Bengal, Andamans, and conifers in the temperate regions.
In between the extremes, there are many intermediate types of forest. Due to different climatic conditions, different forests show variation in the type of trees and animals inhabiting the forest. In northeast India, sal is the most common tree, while in southwest the common tree is teak. In the arid zone, species such as cacti and acacias are dominant. The Himalayan mountains have coniferous as well as trees with broad leaves. Between the foothills of the Himalayas and the plains of river Ganga lie the great Terai forest, in which sal is a common species. The dense forest consists of distinct horizontal layers. These are
Canopy. The canopy is the uppermost levels of a forest formed by the crowns of trees and shrubs. The crown of a tree is the branched part of the stem and leaves above the main trunk. Tree crowns are of different shapes and sizes. The canopy layer is formed by the largest trees. This layer is very crowded and blocks out most of the sunlight. It also acts as windbreaker. The canopy is the densest layer and home to unique flora and fauna.
Understory. The understory layer lies between the
Canopy
and the forest floor. This layer is home to a number of birds, snakes, and lizards, as well as predators such as jaguars and leopards. The leaves are much larger at this level. A wide range of insects are also found. Only about 5% of the sunlight shining on the forest reaches the understory forest. Understories also have higher humidity than the exposed areas. Forest floor. The forest floor layer receives only 2% of sunlight. The forest floor has almost no vegetation because of the low sunlight penetration. Only plants adapted to low light can grow in this region. Many forms of fungi grow here, which help in decaying of dead animals and plants, thus converting them into dark-colored organic matter. This forms the humus. Importance of forest. Forests are storehouse of biodiversity and provide important support system for mankind. The key function can be listed as forest functions. Productive. Production of timber, fodder, medicinal plants, resins, oils, gums, latex, alkaloids, honey, fruits, species, rubber, paper, and cotton. Protective. Conservation of soil and water, prevention of drought and flood, shelter against wind, cold, radiation, and noise, provide shelter to wildlife and facility for grazing cattle. Regulatory. Regulates floods and drought, temperature, water cycle, carbon cycle, absorption, storage and release of gases CO2, O2, conservation of water, mineral element. Accessory. Preserve the aesthetic beauty of nature and forest are sites of recreation, tour and travel. Productive function. Wood has a number of applications in domestic and industrial processes. Wood, when used as a fuel, has an advantage over coal as its sulfur and ash content are very low. Forests provide the raw material for building, making paper, and for furniture. Other uses are in match industry, fiber, and rubber industries. A forest are home to several kinds of plants which are used to make medicines. Plants such as neem, eucalyptus, amla, cassava are used for making several Ayurvedic medicines. Cinchona tree provides the alkaloid quinine, an important medicine for treating malaria.
A variety of grasses such as kevra, khas, lemongrass are sources of several kinds of essential oils. Sandalwood, pine, camphor and eucalyptus also give us oil. Forests are a source of resins that are used to make varnish and paint. Latex is used to make rubber.
Protective function. Forests provide habitat to a large number of plants and diverse wildlife. Animals like jackals, elephants, wild boar and grey langur live in the denser part of the forest. Plants belonging to different categories of trees, shrubs, herbs and climbers form the forest canopy. Forests act as wind breakers and shield against strong wind. The speed of wind gets reduced and this helps in reducing blowing away of topsoil. Roots of trees bind the soil and check soil erosion. The vast stretch of trees planted properly along roads and highways decrease noise pollution. Forests also provide protection from adverse effects of solar radiation. Shade of trees reduces air conditioning cost in residential areas by 15 to 20%. Regulatory function. Forests clean the atmosphere by using carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen during photosynthesis. All animals use the oxygen for respiration and so the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the environment is maintained. Forests also prevent air pollution and global warming. A well-managed and properly stocked forest reduces and provides protection from flood. An intact forest canopy softens the impact of intense rainfall by trapping and absorbing it and slowly releasing it. Rainwater is absorbed by the humus present in the forest floor. Then it seeps into the subsoil and finally moves underground, thus recharging the groundwater. The hill slopes with forest cover conserve water and gradually release it into streams, rivers and lakes. Forests help to increase the humidity of the atmosphere by releasing large amounts of water back to atmosphere by means of transpiration. Forests regulate the Earth's temperature and weather cycle. Home to tribes. Forests have also housed some of the oldest indigenous tribes such as the Bonda of Orissa, Birhor of Bihar and Chenchu of Andhra Pradesh. Forests have become their life support system. Do you know that the tribal people have traditional knowledge of many medicinal plants? They use herbs, bark of trees, roots, flowers and seeds to cure a wide variety of diseases. Joint forest management. This refers to the model of forest management by involving the local people in reforestation, protection of degraded forest and to share with them the sustainable benefits from these forests. The involvement of people is ensured through village forest councils. Accessory function. Forests have great aesthetic value. All of us appreciate the beauty of forest. Forests are a good place for camping, outdoor recreations and holiday destinations. Forests are supposed to be nature's laboratories which have contributed to the study and research in various branches of natural science. Global warming. It is the increase in the temperature on Earth due to the high concentration of greenhouse gases like CO2 and CH4 in the Earth's atmosphere. Greenhouse gases prevent heat of the sun to escape back into the atmosphere. This adds to the heat already available on the Earth's surface. The greenhouse effect is not confined to a particular region but has a global impact. Forest, a self-sustaining dynamic ecosystem. In nature, the organisms are in constant interaction with the non-living part of the physical environment. The organisms include the green plants, which are the producers, and animals, which form the consumer category. The non-living part of the environment include factors like light, temperature, soil, and water. Such factors are important to all living organisms for their survival. Thus, an interdependence of living organisms with the non-living part of the environment is important for a system to sustain. Such a system is referred to as ecosystem. Forests form a part of the ecosystem. These are self-sustaining and self-regulatory units of nature. The interactions among organisms in the forest ecosystem is depicted in the form of food chain. Food chain involves transfer of energy through the process of eating and being eaten. You have learnt in chapter 1 that all green plants trap solar energy and convert it into chemical energy, which is stored as carbohydrate. The plants further transfer their energy to animals after being eaten. The animals may in turn be eaten by other animals, and in this way energy is transferred at all levels. The transfer of energy through a series of organisms, each feeding on the preceding organisms, is called food chain. Many such food chains are found in forests that are interlinked to form food web. When plants and animals die, they form the food for the saprotrophs, referred to as decomposers. These play an important role in forest. They feed upon dead animals and plant tissues and convert them into dark-colored substance called humus. Thus, the nutrients of dead plants and animals are released into the soil. These minerals are absorbed by the trees and plants inhabiting the forest for their growth and development.
Decomposers. These are organisms, mainly fungi and bacteria, which live as saprotrophs on dead organic matter. They secrete digestive enzymes onto dead material and absorb the digested products.
Forest conservation. Forests have been extensively exploited by human beings during the last few decades. The felling of trees are at much faster pace than their natural replacement. The increase in world's human population has posed serious threat to the forest. These are being converted into residential, agricultural, and industrial locations. Mass-scale felling of trees is called deforestation. This has led to the destruction of the habitat of several plant and animal species. There is therefore an urgent need for the forest to be managed, conserved, and replenished. Following measures can be prescribed for forest conservation. 1. Trees cut down for timber or other uses should be matched with planting of more trees so that there is no scarcity in future. 2. A forest should have correct proportion of trees of different ages so that exploitable produce is available at regular intervals. 3. Use of fuel, wood should be discouraged. Biogas should be employed for cooking. 4. Social forestry programs should be encouraged. Under this program, the so-called waste lands should be utilized to produce firewood, fodder, and timber. This program is a boon to rural community. 5th, the annual deforestation must be followed by annual reforestation of deforested areas. Government and communities should take steps to plant trees on large scale. This process is called afforestation and its rate should be increased 3 times the existing rate. 6. Forest fires should be controlled by fire breakers. Use of backfiring and anti-fire solutions must be encouraged. Biogas, a cheap, eco-friendly fuel burning with smokeless flame, it is truly the creation of wealth from waste for farming community. Waste arising from livestock such as cow dung, vegetable and plant waste are placed in airtight tanks. They undergo bacterial and aerobic degradation in the absence of oxygen. The gas produced is methane, used as biogas. The residue left behind in the tank is rich in nutrients and is used as manure.